Can I talk about how I got into journalism? Well, it's a nice day. I'm hanging on my roof, and my dog is taking a nap in the sun, so sure, let's tell a story. The TLDR version is fear of a 9-to-5 job. I just did not cut it in a 9-to-5 atmosphere. Between my physical disabilities and my ADHD, 9 to 5 standing at a cash register just wasn't going to do it for me, and 9 to 5 sitting at a computer didn't work all that well either. So in college, I tried to study something that would let me set my own hours. I originally studied psychology, and I actually did get most of the way through a degree. I ended up getting a minor, but I got hit by a bus, long story, in my junior year, and one of my teachers was being a hard ass about it, so I ended up dropping out of that and going into writing and journalism. Immediately after I graduated college, I looked around for journalism gigs, and I started at a local paper, and then after that, I got a pretty lucrative job doing pharmaceutical journalism. And let me tell you, pharmaceutical journalism fucking sucks. I was writing articles about psychological ways to trick people into thinking that they're sick to ask for medication that they didn't really need. It was soul-killing. It was horrible. My first year employed there, I went to a big conference, and they had me sit in an oxygen bar with a bunch of old white people in suits smoking cigars. And my science mind went, wait, we are huffing flavored pure oxygen up our nose in the presence of an open flame? What the fuck? This is so dangerous. And these old white guys said, oxygen doesn't ignite, it's just air. So I had an existential crisis when I realized I was the smartest one in the room. And all these dudes were millionaires, making millions off of scuzzy pharmaceutical practices. And I hated it. I hated it. So I had a bit of a breakdown. And when I got back home, I said, I think I'm going to stop. I continued working that job for 2 months from home. And then I stopped altogether. I just couldn't do it morally anymore. It was killing me. Unfortunately, now I was a recent college graduate who basically quit the only journalism job he had, so my resume wasn't looking great, and so I had to find something that would take a chance on me, and luckily enough, TCGplayer.com had openings. So I retooled my resume to focus on all the geeky stuff I did in college, like create the gaming club, the Underground Gaming Society, and create all these interesting studies, psychological studies that cross with video games. And TCG Player gave me a very low-paying job, but a job. And so I started my journalism career, I guess after the pharmaceutical part, reviewing board games and card games. I did this for a few years while writing for local papers on the side. And through a couple of my physicist friends from college, I got introduced to science publications and did some science journalism as well. But unfortunately, the science journalism didn't pay as much as the gaming journalism, so I usually focused on the gaming journalism to pay the bills. After TCG Player, I wrote for Shoryuken.com, and then eventually Cheat Code Central, and then Newegg. They were the main ways that I made my money, while on the side I did more interesting projects, usually having to do with science or cooking or other things that I really enjoyed. I also started taking commissions for writing furry porn stories, but don't tell anyone that that's probably the most lucrative way you can make a living writing. Anyway, during the pandemic, Newegg closed their games journalism chapter, which sucked. And that was when I had my first kidney attack and ended up in the hospital. So now I was an out-of-work games journalist that was unavailable for multiple days at a time because of health problems. And I had worked at Newegg for 7 years, and in that time period, games journalism became way more devalued. Instead of getting paid $200, $300 for a long-form article, now people were expecting you to churn out short-form articles for $5 maybe. And even then, AI had taken over basically the entire profession. Anything text-based was just getting churned out by machines and copy editors, and everything else was video stuff. And I didn't have a whole lot of skills in video editing. I had some skills in video editing. I'm still learning more, but other people who had been working in video editing for 20 years would obviously get chosen before me. So I started looking for more jobs, and while I did that, I started TikToking. And then eventually I got a big enough TikTok following that I was able to make this my career. Item Label picked me up as a sponsor. Once again, big shout out. They're incredible people. They're incredibly moral. They understand when I have to take time off for medical reasons. And all I have to do is wear their clothes and show their stuff in the background of my videos. Again, I would appreciate it if you go through my link tree and check their stuff out. Even a click on their website really helps. And so now I'm doing this till the money dries up. After that, who knows what I'm gonna do. But as I've grown older, I've realized that no one has shit figured out these days. Everyone's just trying to figure out how to get through the next few years, or maybe even the next few days. So I can worry about the future a little, but I won't worry about it too much. Right now, I'm just going to enjoy the gig I have and enjoy the life that I've made for myself. That being said, if you're looking for a flexible job that lets you make your own hours, give journalism a shot. Pitch a couple articles to different publications. A lot of people will take a chance on new writers. And then you get to deal with the soul-crushing anxiety of setting your own schedule and making sure that you meet deadlines. But it's worth it. It's been a good life.